Hi, and welcome to FrazlCast. Climb aboard the GNOME train.
Chugga, 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 chugga.
Please make sure to keep your limbs and experimental instruments inside the train at all times. And now, on with the show.
A podcast by a Blizzard fan gnome about World of Warcraft and geeky stuff. I promise you, they do talk about the World of Warcraft. They just go off the rails sometimes.
Well, I am Frazzly, and I am joined by the Ren and Stimpy, the Will Smith and Carlton Banks, the Michael Scott and Dwight Schrute, the Kevin Arnold and Paul Pfeiffer, the J.D. Dorian and Christopher Turk, the Corey Matthews and Sean Hunter, the Lorelei Gilmore and Roy Gilmore, the Wayne and Garth, the Andy Taylor and Barney Fife, the Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble, the Lucy and Ethel, the Walter... Okay. You caught me. I was looking at a Paste Magazine article on the top 35 greatest TV duos of all time. I had to do it because it just was too much fun. I was trying to find what the greatest ones are. But I am joined tonight by the BlizzMates of the Blizzard world, TechieTaco and PerfectNomad.
Hey, what's going on?
Great to have all of you here. And you run the podcast called BlizzMates.
Technically, Techie runs it. I'm just kind of there.
I'd say both. We have our fair share. Cool. I just do the editing. He does the social networking. If I'm being totally honest up front, like I think our responsibilities are split right down the middle.
I feel like editing is like a huge chunk of the responsibility. So Techie, it's yours.
All right. Well,
I mean, it's good I've got multiple personalities because I have somebody do the editing, have someone do the show notes, someone do all the marketing and stuff like that. I mean, who would ever be able to do a show all by themselves?
that's right.
I'm so sorry that I could not get through the entire thing, and I wanted to add more things to the list. Like I didn't get to add my own thing that you're the Keenan and Kel.
Who loves orange soda?
Kel loves orange soda.
Is it true?
Mm-hmm. I do.
Oh, there we go.
Yes. I had to get that Kel Mitchell and that upper pitch at the end of it. It's not just a do-oo, it's a do-oo. Yes. And over in the other corner, just laughing and just face palming and giggling.
I'm trying to be quiet because you haven't introduced me yet and it's not working well.
You're fresh from the Tower of Kirazhan. We have the curator of dungeon lore, Allie of Dungeon Fables and all things Azeroth.
Hello.
Yay.
Yay. Hi. What's up, guys?
Ceiling's up, I think.
Allie, you know better.
He's making up for last week because I almost made it through the entire episode without face palming, and I think he's just making up for it. Really,
we palmed before we even started, so
there was my face palm. Yeah, that's true.
Well, on this episode, I'll have more chances to facepalm as we're going to get to talk with BlizzMates about your podcast and talk about loot boxes because some interesting things have been happening with there. And maybe some more. We'll see where the rails go, if we have any rails at the end of this train. Before we get into any of that, Epic Insanity, what time is it?
It's time to go around the table.
Great idea. So what have you been up to recently? Let's start with Nomad.
I've been doing a lot of different kinds of gaming. I haven't really touched any Blizzard games as of recently. Just a little bit of Overwatch, but I've been playing a lot of Paladins.
Ooh.
For me, I needed like a different gaming repertoire, or else I'll just get bored of the same game all over and over again. And then I also decided to start going to the gym.
Nice.
Yeah, time to get swole.
Absolutely. Like Swolinka.
It's a Swolinka.
And I know a great Discord that has a place where you can go out and get accountability for strength training and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, which Discord would that be?
That would have to be the Azeroth Roundtable.
Oh, he delivered it and pulled it away.
We all love Ben and John over at Azeroth Roundtable, but the fitness place for anybody that's looking for it is on the Liking Balls Discord. Now, after this podcast, I bet Azeroth Roundtable will have to add a fitness channel to their Discord. I predict it. The same way that I predict that TechieTaco had an interesting week.
Your prediction would be mildly incorrect.
I've been wrong before.
I mean, my week's it's just been busy. It's been crazy busy. I saw a concert over this week. We recorded a show, which we'll get into here in a bit. I can't even remember what I did this last weekend. I've been so busy. Yeah, it's just been a crazy week. I haven't played anything. I haven't been able to, I literally couldn't tell you. I think it's been a week since I played WoW. I had to skip raid this week because of that concert. Didn't get home till 2 a.m. And then the next day, which would be last night, I slept for 10 hours. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. it's been crazy.
You were raiding the bed and stuff like that. I mean,
Yes. Oh my God. It was one of those days where I was just so drained, just completely at a loss. And then as soon as I got home, I lay down and I was gone until my alarm went off in the morning.
Wow.
Yep.
Was it a good concert then?
Yeah, it was great. We sat front row. It was awesome.
Nice.
I'm jealous because concerts, there's a feel to the concert. Like you can listen to it on the CD, but there's nothing like being there.
Wait, what's a CD?
Oh, the MP3s. There's nothing like putting the MP3s into your iPod.
Oh, wait, what's an iPod?
Exactly.
Hashtag Android.
Oh, wow.
Should we get into that, Frazly? Oh my God, Frazly, I have been wanting to talk to you about Apple products for a year.
Oh my gosh, it's going down.
We opened up a can of worms.
I will save it. That is an impromptu conversation. I want you to be prepared. I'm just saying.
Okay,
me and you.
That's good.
Me and you.
Absolutely, 1-on-1 in the boxing arena.
That's right.
Can I be in the audience with like some popcorn?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Ellie, you'll be the referee.
Even though I've got an old Android tablet right here and I'm running this on a Windows PC.
That's all right. That's all right. What's your phone?
Well-rounded. I mean,
yes,
that's true.
Yeah.
I shouldn't give him shit. I mean, I should. Dang it, beep.
That didn't last long.
Hey, Techie, I did buy the new AirPods, though. So
we're officially like, what, 3 minutes into the show, and I probably lost.
Good job, buddy. Good job.
He learned my secret weakness. Talk about Apple and Android, and I go off the rails.
Yeah.
What I was trying to say is I can't give him too much crap because he is so, both sides of Horde and Alliance, Apple and Android, PC and Apple and all that stuff.
And I used to have Windows Phone before my iPhone.
Oh, man. You dip your toes in all those pies.
Absolutely. Hey, you just got to be operating system agnostic or something like that.
Right. Or whatever.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Sorry.
I don't even know anymore.
We were about to get to Allie, what she did with her.
Yeah, because Allie was dipping their toes in the magic of Medivh's pools.
Oh, God. I'm glad you said pools at the end of that.
That sounds so bad.
Medivh's dark portal.
Well, it's a dark portal, all right. So... yes, I spent a lot of time in Karazhan, which took away a lot of gaming time, but I got through it and the episodes are out in the wild, which is good. Hopefully they're good. And what else have I done? So I've been participating in the Iron Man challenge with WoW Challenges. So it's a dwarf pally that I'm doing, who I also killed on Sunday.
On purpose, because they're Alliance?
No, screw you. I'm Alliance. Thank you. No, I was overly tired and I did not make a smart move when I was questing. So I'm working 8 to 6 right now at work, as opposed to usually I have my mornings to work on the show and I don't anymore, which means I've been doing a lot of really late nights and my husband's alarm goes off at 4 a.m. and I try to go back to bed for at least a little bit, but not long enough. So I've been really sleep deprived. Questing while you're sleep deprived doesn't work well. So a neutral crab kills you when you're questing.
Did that make you crabby?
It did a little bit, yes. Mostly because I am guesting on Wild Challenges this upcoming Saturday. And so I get to admit this embarrassment of a death in front of everyone that level 22, a neutral crab killed me. It's going to be great. Yeah, I'm not bitter at all.
Have to admit that you're Alliance too. So that's going to be just as bad.
Well, see, they support all factions though.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah. Everybody will know you as Alliance Pig.
Cap in chat is trying to create an hashtag Ally Alliance thing. I'm still confused on how that started. I am, but that's a thing. I'm okay with being Alliance. I do have a Horde alt that's in the Lagging Balls guild.
You know what's sad? I'm not even in the Laggy Balls guild.
Wow.
You're their tech and assistant. How could you not be?
I know.
Guild?
I think I need the shame bell for you right now from
Well,
friends.
A couple things. One, I feel like chat's about to lose their mind.
Yeah.
One,
keeping an eye on it now.
I've been in AIE since like 2014. And two, I'm on Earthen Ring, so I can't be in Blood of the Scribe or Blood of the Scribe.
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
Yeah.
So there's a book by Terry Goodkind called Blood of the Fold. That's what I was thinking of. Sorry. So I can't be Blood of the Scribe unless I switch servers, and that costs money. And I did leave AIE, and then I realized I was on a different server, and then I had to beg the AIE guild like mods to take me back.
So let me get something straight here. Not only are you their tech assistant, not only are you not in the guild, but then you had to question the name of the guild.
Yes. Well, to be fair,
put that out there.
To be fair, Blood of the Fold is very close to Blood of the Scribe, and I couldn't remember which one it was. And Blood of the Fold is a book by Terry Goodkind that I like.
I get it. It's okay.
I've got a question for you, Techie.
Yes.
So the Lagging Balls podcast records on Friday nights, right?
No. Did you try to get me there?
That's like I always try to troll you in chat on Friday nights.
Not going to happen.
It looked like it almost worked.
I had to think about what he was saying there for a second. No. Friday nights, just so everybody knows, Friday nights is Friday Nights with This and Thorn. That's what Friday night is. And special announcement, I have been given permission to announce that tomorrow night is episode 69 officially happening.
Finally doing it.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Woo! Awesome.
So tomorrow night, which will be May 10th, 2019, will be the official episode 69 of LBS. Well, sorry, not LBS, of Friday Nights with This and Thorn. Right.
So they finally got to Sesente Nueve. Nice.
Yeah. And I don't want to say too much, but it's going to look great, is all I'm saying.
Dildos all everywhere, right?
No!
Probably.
Bradley.
Not saying a word. What are you guys thinking about me if that's what you think? Jeez.
Wow.
Look, they even talking about it in chat. Oh my god! Yeah,
broke chat.
Frasley broke chat.
Well done, Frasley. Well done.
It's Lagging Balls. What do you expect? I mean,
so funny.
And so Ali, anything else that you've been up to the past week?
Are you trying to change the subject?
Yes.
She has one more thing she has to announce.
Do I get to announce it?
Yep.
Hey, so on Sunday, I had the incredible pleasure of being a guest on BlizzMates.
Nice.
Which was phenomenal. I had far too much fun. After we recorded for the next hour or so, even afterwards was Game of Thrones and stuff. And I had just the biggest goofy grin on my face because I had so much fun talking to these guys, and I had laughed a lot. I laughed really hard. Actually hurt my sides a little bit just from laughing so much. I was a little nervous. I wasn't expecting to laugh as much as I did. They were also being super nice and saying really nice things to me. So I got a little flustered too. And I probably blushed a couple times, but I kept telling them to shut up because I was trying to stay focused, and they weren't letting me stay focused very well. But
she obviously has never listened to the show because she knows that if she's trying to stay focused. Yeah.
Oh, I'm fully aware. I was still in the mode of I want to be a really good poster. Wow. I want to be a really good podcaster, which I'm really screwing up tonight. And, show these guys that I'm cool and stuff. I had so much fun, and they're just phenomenal guys, and BlizzMates is amazing. So I'm glad you're all here to hear about BlizzMates from these guys, because this show is fantastic and I love it. Even before I guested on it, now that I've guested on it, I just love it even more.
Thank you, Allie. You're also on episode 10, so it's a big milestone for us.
It was episode 10, so congrats on 10. And I was really excited, when I realized it was episode 10, because that's a pretty good honor. Episode 10's a big one, so you gotta like the big one.
Over on Venmo right now, I see a transaction from TechieTaco to Alejandro's. Okay, that's
good. It went through. Just making sure. It went through.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep.
Hey, congratulations on episode 10. I mean, that is amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, Allie was. I mean, I don't know why it became a big secret. We weren't trying to hold anything back, but it just came this fun little thing. But
you guys didn't
Allie's
really
on the
talk
show.
About it, so
yeah. So Allie, we asked her a few weeks ago if she would be on the show. She said yes. And then we scheduled it out, and it just happened to land on the 10th episode. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. We talk about it on the show, but she was one of the first people we wanted on the show just because she's good friends with both of us. And then she's so active in the community, and they just seemed like a perfect fit. Fist and Thorn was the first ones just because they helped us get our start. And then we were like, okay, let's bring in more people into the BlizzMates community. And who else can we bring in? And she was one of the first people we thought of.
You're good. No, stop it. I'm on camera this time.
I'll make it much more by saying that I always have fun having Allie on the show. I mean,
shush.
Yep.
Moving on.
So, podcast that I love. I was listening to one podcast. It was a fictional podcast about a murder. It was fun. I don't want to mention the name of the podcast because I'm a little irritated with them because they went exclusive behind a paywall somewhere. So we're not going to talk about that place where they went. So I can't give them my RSS feed. But I found another podcast called Done Disappeared. It's all satire and funny, but I am like binging it. Like I'm in season 2 right now. And I'm just loving it. So if you love like weird podcasts, because it's one thing I've always wanted to do with the Fraz Report is those weird fictional story podcasts. And this podcast does some of the stuff that I want to do in WoW, but also just it's fun. I mean, like they make fun of all the tropes you see, like the 5,000 ads. And by the way, today's episode brought to you by it's just a fun one. So I think if you just want to laugh, listen to that one. And then for gaming, playing one game that I want to beat before I mention on the show, so teaser. But then I got Korlak up to 111. So that means that my Koltiran Heritage Armor is now there on the Alliance.
Wow, dude, you're really boogieing on that thing.
I thought you had to get to 120 to get the armor.
That's for the OG races. But funny thing with that, though, I got into Warlords and Pete in the chat told me about the Garrison XP potions that I never knew ever. So this is my first alt that I've ever, and then I apply it. All of a sudden Winchester in chat says, but wait, doesn't that disqualify you? My face just for 1 second went like, so I was just Googling midstream to be like, okay, what happens? Does this actually disqualify me? And they said, no, it's boosting. I was like, whew. But,
a lot of waste of time.
Yeah, 94, 95. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I think that was the same potions that I used when I was rep grinding for flying in not Legion, but in what is it? Not BFA. Oh my God, Warlords. Thank you.
Wait, that potion would have worked for rep. Oh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Because I remember I was getting really sick of grinding rep, and I remember talking to people in the guild, and I was like, is there anything else I can do? And they told me about a potion, and then the guy came and crafted, he like gave me something, gave me the crafts for it, or gave me the mats for it, or something. I don't remember what it did, but like it went from me complaining in guild chat to me having flying in the matter of like 40 minutes. So
wow.
Yeah.
Flying is great. And did you know that Ghost Wolf can dance?
No.
On Shaman? I went down to the Darkmoon Fair, and I was just kind of hanging out there, and I go over to the Epic Tarn Chieftain, and all of a sudden I started slash dance. My little wolf pup is like just dancing. I'm like, oh, it's the cutest thing ever. He's like on his hind legs.
I think Rhaegar does the same thing in Heroes of the Storm when he's in Ghost Wolf form.
Nice.
Yeah.
You just made that sentence rhyme.
Oh, did I? Dr. Seuss over here.
It's the hat. Magical powers.
Powers.
Of Pepe.
Pepe.
But you two, Techie and Nomad, there's a magic that happens on your podcast of BlizzMates. So how did you two first meet?
Well, to address the magic, that's called well, I about said something really mean, and I'm not going to.
This could be clipped, man.
Yeah.
Choose your next words wisely.
Let's not go there. Okay. I saw this question earlier in the show notes, and I was trying to actually think about the very first time that I remember, like, quote unquote, meeting Nomad, and I don't recall. And I feel like that's the same way with like anybody else in my life that like I become friends with, or like that's really important and significant. Like I don't remember the first time I saw them, like they just kind of appear and then we just become friends.
He called me significant.
Aw.
No, I was talking about other people. And then there's you. That's
yeah, I'm still included somewhere.
No, I honestly don't remember. I know it was through Lagging Balls. It was just one of those things that there's so many people talking in that community. It's so often that you just kind of develop like not a relationship, but you develop like a sense of personalities, right? That's how I met every single one of you guys, is through the Lagging Balls Discord and learning about like Frazly, your selfies that you would always post, or hearing. I think my first I think I've even mentioned this to Allie before, but like the first thing I ever knew about Allie was her being like hearing her ad at the end of Lagging Balls, and it's like, hey guys, or what did you say, like, hi ballers, that whole thing. And then I came on the FrazlCast, and then she was in chat talking, and I was like, oh, that's the same Allie. I connected the dots. There wasn't ever a point where I just had this realization of who Nomad was. It was just like a thing that I would see him post in chat a lot. And then I think Was it that you posted something about he wanted to join a raid? I mean, I just offered a hand for him to join our raid. Wasn't the best of timing because he joined the raid. It was we were on farm with Jaina.
I think it was what's his face, the gnome guy.
Gnome guy. What?
Right? No,
Megatork.
Yeah, we had just done Megatork.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. He asked if anybody knew a raid that he could join. I offered him to join mine, and then like only a few weeks later, like a month later, I actually had to step out because of like I couldn't keep up the schedule of my raiding team. But through that interaction with him, like in us guild or raiding together, we had good chemistry. And then one day I was just like, let's do this.
I was driving for work, and I can tell you the exact cross streets where I was at. I'm not going to say live on stream, but I got a message on Discord, just a whisper, and he's like, "Hey, want to start a podcast?" And
that's literally what I said to him.
Yeah. And like it popped up on my phone, and like I'm at the stoplight, and I was like, yeah, like I just got super stoked. And then like I typed it to him. I said, F yeah, forward. And so we just kind of planned it from there.
Yep.
It's just been so much fun since.
So how did you decide on BlizzMates in the format?
There's a YouTuber that I follow, and if anybody knows me and knows that I'm a fan of Linus Tech Tips, but I read an article once that he did, and he said that I always screw the quote up, but it was something along the lines of a 50% plan with 100% execution is better than, or a 100% plan with no percent execution or something like that. And so I had this idea of like, I just want to make a podcast and I want to do a thing. And if I've just plan it out, it'll never happen. One day I was just like to the point where I was like, okay, I have to create something. And that's right when Nomad and I were starting to raid together. And I was just like, let's do a show. Let's make a podcast. And we really didn't have an idea for what it was going to be or what it was going to be called or anything. And we just kind of started brainstorming. There wasn't really anything that I thought that we could bring to the table at first, other than like I knew I had to create something. I mean, there's hundreds of Blizzard podcasts, there's hundreds of video game podcasts, millions of nerd podcasts. What voices do we have to bring to the table? There's a podcast that I really like called Hello Internet. It's from these two YouTubers, CGB Gray and Brady Heron, that just have like a conversation about BS. They just sit there and talk about whatever, like the dumbest little things. And it's like Seinfeld was a TV show about nothing. Well, Hello Internet is like a podcast about nothing. Like they really don't have significant conversations about political events or anything, but they're just genuinely good people that are friends and have like a friendly conversation just about nothing. And I've always loved that format because it's intriguing to listen to their conversations and just kid around. And so I thought, there's not really a show that's doing that in the Blizzard sphere. Like there's not like just two Blizzard raiders that are just having like random conversations that I felt was, significant. So that's kind of where the idea spawned from. I don't know if we've achieved that or not, but that's where the idea came from. And like the bumpers in the episode, that's where that comes from, because Hello Internet does the same thing. So that's where the idea came from. That's why originally the show was more like harshly cut and very tight, because that's the way the original Hello Internet started, is the same kind of ideology. But I don't know, over time, I think we've both just kind of gotten to know each other and it became its own thing.
We're definitely a lot more comfortable with each other now, so we don't always have to cut out some things. So like our conversations generally tend to free flow, but there is a huge time difference. So I try to come home as fast as possible to podcast with him. And by the time we're done, he's dead tired.
Right. That's why a lot of the shows will start with me like super excited. And by the end of it, I'm just like, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to BlizzMates. It was fun. Nomad,
yes.
Bring up the story about how we got the name, because that's totally your doing.
I'm trying to remember. It was your coworker or something like that? Talking about roommates?
You came up with the idea though, like the name of it, right?
I don't recall, honestly.
I don't recall either.
You had
great story, guys. Great story.
You had an idea.
Oh, that's right. No, I had the idea of BlizzMates, the name BlizzMates. All right, I had the name BlizzMates in my mind because my coworker is English and very like proper English. Right. So like he would always say like mate, like hello mate, and stuff like that, right? And then I brought that up as BlizzMates as the name of the show, and but I couldn't think of like what is that theme, like what does that look like?
Yeah, and I think that's when I chimed in and I said, "Oh, you mean like roommates?" And you're like, "What?" And I was like, "Bro, like roommates, BlizzMates," and then we just decided on that. And I think as Gandara, she brought it up that it reminds her of a Vine. where it's like this girl, she walks by and she goes, and they were roommates. And then the guy pans the camera to his face. He's like, oh my God, they were roommates. So that's what we always think about when it comes to BlizzMates.
Yep. And we just springboarded it from there. We actually had, I think, almost 3 episodes recorded by the time we launched the first episode, just because we wanted to have some kind of back catalog.
I think it's amazing that like you aren't in the same area, but yeah, you're like roommates, like internet roommates. Because I mean, you probably spend more time together than you do even with like your roommates.
Yeah, we do. We have quite a different time zone. Like he's in California and I'm in Indiana. And so like there's a 3-hour difference there. So like that's super hard.
We got to meet up, Techie. Remember, I'm in Ohio, so we gotta.
Dude, right next
3 hours.
Make it happen.
Yes.
It's got to happen. And
Absolutely. And you know, if I do that though, is it like Postmates? Can I order like a slushie from 7-Eleven, then have you bring it to me?
You know, I kind of want to, because at that point it would just be like red liquid, like in a cup.
But it'll be delicious liquid.
True. Okay, hang on. Before we continue, I have to ask everybody, what's your favorite slushie? Allie, go.
Well, it depends. If there is a Coke slushie, I really like that. If it's one of those things where it's just like white and red and blue and whatever flavors go with that, I usually do some kind of mix. I like to mix it up.
Nomad?
I go by colors like Gatorade. So red, white, and blue because America.
They taste really good mixed together, though. They do.
You just, mixing them together and, get a little purple slush.
Fraz?
I've always liked cherry. It's just something to that flavor.
Cherry's good. Cherry's
good. I love it.
How about you, Techie?
Cherry all the way. If there's a way for me to get cherry, I get cherry. But cherry Coke is really good. Like get the Coke with the cherry, mix it up. The Coke and I about said mayonnaise. That's gross. The Coke and Mountain Dew. That's really good to mix it up too. So
okay, don't tempt me. I got to get Coke and mayonnaise now.
Oh God.
So, what is it like working with the co-host? I mean, because to hopefully get us away from the Coke and mayonnaise.
It's the worst.
Gross.
I was going to say it's the best. I mean, I did a solo podcast for a little bit, and as much as I enjoyed it, I just couldn't handle it anymore. After getting a taste of having a co-host, phrasing, I just really, really enjoyed working with Techie.
You just broke Allie.
I'm trying to be good and you make it so difficult.
This whole episode is dedicated to breaking Allie.
Well, you broke Frasley earlier, so that happened.
And I broke chat.
Yeah, wow.
Where's your hat, Frasley?
Oh, it fell off.
We weren't supposed to mention it.
I know. Well, he moved it and he did something with it.
It fell off.
I don't know what it's. I mean, I don't know. It's great. I mean, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I ever could do a solo podcast. I had the idea once of like, maybe I could just do it by myself. And then I thought, no, that would literally be me just like complaining and nobody listening. And that would be it. Well,
and what I love is you do the editing, Techie, and Nomad. I heard that, like, you've always told me that when you did the Freezing Nomad, you didn't like the editing part.
Oh, dude, I hated the editing.
So it is that perfect combination of skills.
Yeah, dude. And there goes your hat.
Yes.
Pizza down.
Having pizza hats on top of headphones is a challenge. So what has been the biggest challenge you've had to overcome?
Probably the biggest challenge would be scheduling between the two of us. I mean, with the solo podcast, I could have done it anytime I wanted to, but I also have to be considerate when it comes to BlizzMates is Techie's time and his energy when it comes to recording, because by the time we're done, it's like 11 o'clock his time, and he's got work at like, 6 in the morning?
I have to be up at 5:45, yeah.
He's got quite the time schedule, so that's definitely, I would say, our biggest challenge is scheduling.
Yeah, I would totally agree. I'd say the other thing is finding our groove. I think that was a big hurdle, especially when we first started. It's something new. It's a new project that you don't know this other person from Adam. And, you're trying to learn who they are, also make this project together. So there's a lot of like creative barriers to get over. Not that we ever argued or anything like that, but it was just like our original recordings would be 2.5 hours long because we would just find what works and then what didn't. And then that's why editing took so long in the beginning, because I would have this 2.5 hour long file that I'd have to sit through and pull parts out. And the editing, like, they just didn't make sense altogether unless I broke them up into pieces. But now, and I mean, it's still an evolution, as I mentioned in the show with Allie, but like we've definitely gotten like a lot more comfortable and we're trying new things. We're learning what works and what doesn't.
There was definitely a hurdle of like learning each other, like what we're comfortable with. Like I know I've definitely asked Techie some things that he wasn't comfortable with, and he would answer, and he's like, I don't know if I'm going to put that. And then it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, we definitely like have blown past that. So when we record now, I feel like we're able to just streamline what we want to talk about, and then we throw a banter in there, and it's just always a good time.
Yeah, for sure. The other thing is we never know what's going to take off. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like the stupid ranch on pizza thing. My God, if we
That's going to follow you for the entire length of the show.
I know, and I mean that's fine. It's funny. I'm totally down. It's just one of those things that, like, we didn't expect it to be the thing, but like the audience just totally caught on to it and just ran with it. You know, it became like the big thing of like ranch. Do you like ranch or do you don't like ranch? It's like the ranch debate, you know? So
Ranch on your pizza, ranch with that. Yeah.
yeah.
It's always one of those, you always wonder why a show picks something as their thing. And it's then when you see it happen, I mean,
Right.
the GNOME train is one that I started doing one week and I got good feedback from it. So now I just make it part of what I do, but you never know until you try.
Well, I didn't know about the GNOME train until I tried it. Bigger than you think.
Oh, God.
Having guests is a hidden pitfall of podcasting. I never realized all the stuff that would be that would be happening on an episode. But it's also some of the most fun. I mean, I never know what I'm going to get and stuff like that. So what would you say is one hidden pitfall with podcasting that prevent people from succeeding?
You want to go ahead and rein that one in, Techie?
Oh,
Maybe we can both
geez.
answer.
I've got a few. Wait a minute. Why am I the one that's talking so much? Usually Nomad's the one that like goes on rants. I feel like I'm just like
You can
go ahead.
rant and then he can rant. You can both take your turns.
I just like hearing Techie talk
Aw.
because that means I don't have to.
See, but I like hearing you both talk, so I think you should both take your turns.
Hey,
Let's
we
do it
should
at the
start a
same
podcast
time.
where we both talk.
That sounds like a great idea. All right, Frazzy, see you later, man.
What can we call it?
Call it
BlizzMates.
Ooh, that's a BlizzMates.
Oh,
Well, the BlizzMates thing came up when we had This and Thorn on the show, and the very first question we said in the show notes prior to the show, we said, you know, this is the idea. We want to just fire questions back and forth at each other. And the very first question This asked was, "What if you guys don't become friends? Is that just like dead content? Like, what do you do there?" And Thorn was like, "We'll start a new show called BlizzMates." It worked.
I think we became friends.
Yeah.
there is a podcast called Conversations with People Who Hate Me, and it's a bit these content creators talk with some of their critics and find out why they don't like them.
Wow.
So I mean, it could work.
That's rough.
That reminds me, there's a show, I can't remember what it's called. I thought you were about to mention it. It's called something like Anonymous Conversations with Beautiful People or something like that. Beautiful Conversations with Anonymous People. I don't remember what it's called. Basically, the rule is that this guy somehow he gets on the phone with these people that are completely anonymous. He has no idea who they are. They don't know, or they know who he is, I guess, whatever. Anyways, he just has these conversations with strangers, and the only rule is he can't hang up. You know, he just learns who they are as long as they want to talk, and they don't give their names. I think they give their first name, but that's it. And they don't want any identification. So it's like these like very powerful and very beautiful and moving stories because they're completely anonymous. So they open up in a way that like they would never tell anybody else. It's really, really good.
Wow.
Yeah.
I could see that working for Blizzard. I mean, because what if you got devs talking with the critics?
Oh man, that would be incredible.
I would actually like to see Lore just sit there and just be like, okay, and then just retort.
Yeah, that would be cool. Now he's probably listening to this and like, oh no.
No, to answer your question, I think some of the holdups would be, I mean, just with anything, you know, you starting something new, you're putting yourself out there in a way that a lot of people don't. Like, if you look at the general population of the country or the world, like, I would say a minuscule percentage, I mean, less than 0.1%, I would assume, you know, podcasts or even know how to podcast. There's a huge barrier to entry. And then so you get through all of that, you make all this stuff, you figure out where you're going to host it, what it's going to be called, what the theme is. You do all these things, scheduling everything, and then you're at the mercy of any random person that's walking by that can criticize you and then you're done with your show. So I think it's a process to get into, and then it's a process to keep going.
Yeah.
Podcasting, I've definitely heard the butt of some jokes. Like, oh, just go talk about it on your podcast, you know, like very dismissive. So I think like to answer your question on my side, what hidden pitfall of podcasting keeps you from succeeding? I think that having that general anxiety of like, are people actually going to like what I'm going to say? Are people going to want to listen to what I have to say? You know, because you put so much effort. You do scripts, you do show notes, you can do research and all this stuff, and that means nothing if nobody listens to it. But it could also mean everything to you because you make it. But that's a whole nother topic for another time. So it's probably just a general anxiety.
Yeah, a lot of anxiety. It is interesting about podcasting because, you know, with paint, you know, somebody can paint a picture. They just buy some paint, buy some brush, and buy a canvas or paper or whatever, and then they show people the same thing, or they put it online, or they make a picture in Photoshop or whatever. Like, there's so many different ways that you can do, like, express your art and your talents and your creativity in different ways. But I feel like podcasting specifically, and like video production work, or just any kind of like electronic production in general, you have to put so much more effort into it. Because you have to know that technology and how to manipulate it to create a product that you want to create and that you are trying to express yourself in. It's a scary, scary thing too.
Yeah, and it's always weird when you put that out there because you want it to be good. You want people to enjoy it.
Right.
That gets into some scary territory there.
It is always weird. Like, you feel like it's your baby. You feel like you put so much into it. And then it's always weird when you hear like what people do and don't like.
Right.
That for me has had to be the hardest thing to hear, like, oh, I don't like this as well. And you learn that you can't make everybody happy, but you learn what does make people happy.
Right.
And it is the weirdest thing. I now have two people, actually 3 or 4 in my immediate vicinity who I didn't even realize played WoW. But somewhere along the way, they learned that I did this podcast. They maybe even be listening to live right now in chat, or they're going to be listening on the download. But it's just so weird when you realize. The other weird thing is it's amazing. People look at you as an expert in your subject because you have a podcast. They're like, no, I just like doing the podcast.
Right. So I'm saying I never ever say I'm an expert in lore because that is scary. That's why I say I'm a servant of the lore, because I don't know anything. I have to look everything up.
Yeah. I'm always amazed at your knowledge, Ali. I mean, you pull out amazing things. I mean, so it's just the tidbits. I mean, Karazhan, next time I go in there, though I don't need to go in for the Warhorse Rain, but I need to go in for Transmog.
No, like I have the mount already. Me.
There's some jealousy going on here.
Yep.
I'm a little jealous right now.
Right?
I'm trying for that mount for years.
Yeah.
It only took me 6 runs for the Blue Protodrake in the Utgard Keep.
Oh, shut! Seriously?
Yeah, that's him just rubbing it in at this point.
Smack you.
I mean, that one has been one.
Good thing you're not going to BlizzCon, buddy.
Oh,
wow.
Owie.
I mean, I'm sad you're not going to BlizzCon. Love you, Fraz.
Well, you know what? We're going to start our own BlizzCon on the East Coast and call it, I don't know, TechieCon.
Yes.
FrazlCon.
I would totally buy tickets for that and go out there for that too.
I like TechieCon because then it can be to kind of roll off enough, but it can't be like zucchini.
No, now it's called Zucchini. Thanks.
Zucchini.
Okay. Called now.
When did zucchini even come into this?
Okay, so you probably all know about it, but did you all see the video where Pat was talking about zucchini and stuff like that? No. And I made a whole rap song about zucchini.
No.
Okay, because I made this like I spent like an hour on this song. Zucchini. I mean, and like,
oh yes, I do remember seeing this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zucchini!
It was another one of my babies. I put all this stuff into it, and like nobody said anything. I was like, okay, but it's out there. But what has to be the best thing that's happened to you since you started?
Being friends with Techie.
Oh. Hey, Nomad.
And that's a 100% honest answer.
I think your nose. I think your nose is looking a little.
Oh!
Man, shade is being thrown right and left today. Wow.
I don't know what's gotten into Frasley.
Wow. He's getting sassy.
I thought you were making fun of my gigantic nose.
No, I wouldn't do that.
I was like, oh, man.
No, he stopped mid-sentence, so he could go multiple different ways. He could say there's white stuff on your nose because you're a juggy. He's saying you could brown stuff on your nose because you're a nose, whatever, brown noser. But I just say you got some blush on your nose because you're blushing. Aww.
Yeah.
Aww. This is a PG podcast, right?
Yes.
Not until I dropped the something earlier.
You ruined it.
4 minutes into the show. Best thing that's happened to me. Now, I saw this question earlier, and you mentioned best thing that's ever happened to me was the exact question. And I thought, well, what's the... Or no, never mind. I jumped ahead in the script. Never mind.
Womp womp.
I'm just going to go ahead.
I'm
going to go ahead and leave. I'll see you guys later. Bye. See ya. See you later.
Well, I have to say...
Okay, I'm back.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, welcome back, buddy. I do want to say, I mean, you're both talking about being each other's friends, and it really comes through in the show. Like, my favorite podcasts are the podcasts where you can feel that friendship, and they really play off each other nicely. And though you may have only like recently become friends, the way you two mesh together, it seems like you've been friends for a very long time. And that is one of the many, many, many reasons that I absolutely adore your show. So anyone listening, if you have not checked out BlizzMates yet, please do. It is funny as hell, and you will see why they are BlizzMates.
Because it's one of those things, and on the verge of being a brown noser, it's one of those things that I've tuned into BNN, and I see Pat and Thist, and you can tell that friendship. I mean, and I see that same friendship on BlizzMates.
Yeah, totally.
We appreciate that.
I feel like I haven't answered your question. Okay, so one, of course, being friends with Nomad. That's going to be one thing.
You seem almost reluctant to say that. I guess I'm friends with
No,
Nomad.
it's true. I grew a genuine friendship out of it. But I think the other thing is more than just him. Like, I found friends with other people that I had no idea.
Definitely.
Nomad's obviously somebody that I am connected to now. I feel like there's already people that I was familiar with the Lagging Balls community. But then there were those that just like stepped up even more and just like totally embraced our show, embraced the idea. Like, I've had numerous shows throughout the years, and the most any of them ever did was like 20 downloads combined. Like, you know what I mean? We appreciate, like, any time that we post an episode and then immediately get responses online, that's everything to us. And we always say that in the episodes, and I feel like we're just like, okay, get it, shut up, like, you know, you're appreciative, but like, that means everything. That means absolutely everything. To see engagement with content that we're creating, that to me is the most important thing. Like, the fact that the stuff that we are putting down and the efforts that we're doing, and like, yes, it sucks because we have to schedule this time when normally I would just want to like go relax and watch TV, or I have to edit this thing because I have to put it out, but I would rather go watch TV or raid or whatever. It's all worth it at the end of the day, because once I click upload and feedback comes in, it's like, it's the greatest thing ever. And it's not just BS feedback. It's like genuine, like people just enjoying themselves and sharing the conversation. You know what I mean? So I'd say that's for sure the best thing.
It's so much fun.
I feel like I have more friends since starting this one. I can relate to what you're saying, Techie, that in Nomad, that it's, you build more friends by doing it, because those people that are listening to you feel like they know you.
Right.
And yet you've never talked with them.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And it's really nice too, because I think that was one of our hidden goals to the show, was to give something back to the community. We've given something to the community, and they've given back to us by just being more transparent, just being more of a foothold in the community. Like, we've met so many different people. We've gotten responses, we've gotten videos, we've gotten so many different things from people. And
you got a ranch cupcake.
Yeah.
Plaggy.
Love you, Plaggy.
Love you, Plaggy. Yeah, I mean, it's been so nice that our show has really helped people come out of their shell and be more of a prominent figure within like the Warcraft community or the Blizzard community. And it's really cool knowing that people from the Blizzard campus listen to our show. So that's really, really cool too.
Yeah.
That is
Wow.
really cool.
Yeah. I'm having a great time tonight. And before we end the show, I wanted to bring up one thing, because the three of you play a lot of Blizzard games. I pretty much play WoW because it's the only game of Blizzard that I'm really good at. I mean, I play other games, but like, I'm killing horses in Skyrim, stuff like that. Not on purpose. But the three of you play games like Overwatch and Heroes and Hearthstone. The interesting thing about those games is there is a loot box aspect to them. And loot boxes is kind of an iffy subject right now, because there's a lot of like how close to gambling are they? So there's two articles that I want to bring up. The first is one from Engadget that Michael Haidt brought to my attention. So the FTC is going to be holding a public workshop on loot boxes in August. They kind of want to see what's going on with these loot boxes. It's going to be kind of like a town hall to kind of figure out what are loot boxes and kind of come together to figure out what they are. And then I was like, that sounds like a really cool thing. Well, then guess what happens today? So the news comes out, and this is from Kotaku, that U.S. Senator Josh Haley from Missouri is introducing a bill to ban loot boxes and pay-to-win microtransactions. And where they're really going with this bill is for games that are for minors and stuff like that. And I think Blizzard would probably be a game that, because of its cartoony look and because of its less focus on gore, would probably be one that would be considered going toward minors. And this wouldn't be a huge issue, except in the Activision Blizzard's earning call. Activision Blizzard delivered approximately 800 million of in-game net bookings in the first quarter. And this is all of Activision. From what I'm understanding, this means in-game microtransactions. What do you think of loot boxes in general?
Personally, it depends on what's in those loot boxes. If it's purely cosmetic and if it's just for fun, if it doesn't actually give you an actual boost in the game, I'm okay with them. It's when it becomes, something that actually gives you that boost, that makes it more pay to win, that becomes a challenge. When the game gives you an option to either pay for the loot box or earn the loot box in the game, then I can get behind it. Because that way the people who may not have the money to drop on it can still get a chance to get it. And if that's the case, then it's okay.
I feel like loot boxes, it's such a touchy subject nowadays. And
yeah.
I think the only game, in my personal opinion, that did it right was Heroes of the Storm, because with each and every character, you have an opportunity to earn a loot box. And every 10 levels with any character is a loot box specifically tailored for that character. And there's so many different things that you can get. They're all cosmetic. They don't give you any sort of power boost.
Exactly.
And that's what I like when it comes to like loot boxes. Like if it's just something that I don't want to spend money on and I have a chance to get it, fine. But if it's like a loot box to like get 500 cards for 500 gems for all this power and energy, I'm just like, I don't want to spend my money on that. But if there's a way to earn a loot box without paying for it, I'm cool with it. But on the side of, let's say something in this loot box gives you like a power boost to gain an advantage over somebody who doesn't have money to spend or doesn't want to spend any money on this game, then I can see where that becomes a problem. If they were to get rid of loot boxes, I just see that video game companies will find a different way to earn your money.
Yeah. There's
always going to be a different way to earn your money. And loot box was just like one of the stepping stones. If I'm not mistaken, Morrowind was like one of the very first microtransactions over on the Xbox Live Store where you could buy like a cosmetic for your horse, and then people went nuts over it. Yeah, really a long time ago. And like nowadays you can buy skins. Like I said earlier, I was playing Paladins. Free to play game. I don't need to spend any money on it. I spent $60 to unlock all the champions because I actually really enjoy playing this game. I wanted to support the developers. And in that game, you can buy skins with, I think, just straight up money. And you could also earn loot boxes through battle passes, whatever. Not a big deal to me because it doesn't give me an actual power boost. It's just all skins. The only difference is that I paid money to unlock all these champions.
I have mixed feelings about loot boxes, to be honest. It's a double-sided sword. I think like anything that moderation, it has to be a thing that is done with understanding and respect. And you look at like Harry Potter. I'm going to throw some things under the bus here because like the Harry Potter game, the Hogwarts Mystery or Hogwarts, whatever it's called. I was so excited to play that game because I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. Graphics were really cool and I like the way the story played out. But then very quickly in the game, you learn that it's all about microtransactions. Basically, they just want you to buy crap to exceed in the game. And literally, like to like get your character out of these weeds, you literally have to either wait like 2 days or you have to just buy the microtransactions to get your character out. And it's just like, that's when I just deleted it. Because at that point I knew what it was. I saw it for what it was. Then you have other bigger titles, EA is obviously a victim of this. And I don't know, like there's, I mean, name it, you know what it is. Like those the ones where I feel like it's a little bit intrusive. But I feel like the way Overwatch is doing it in particular isn't, this is going to be like biased. I'm a Blizz fan, right? And I'm going to say, well, sure, Blizzard's doing it right because look at them, but like, really, they're doing it cosmetically. Yep. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The greatest players in Overwatch League have the exact same character that I do that's just starting on a free weekend. You know what I mean? Only they just look different. That's all it is. If I have to put my hand in this and say, which way do I vote? Right now, the way it stands, I honestly think I would vote that they should be banned from it, because I think leaning more, I feel like the argument isn't so much Overwatch, right? It's not that Overwatch started this huge controversy and Overwatch did this stuff. I don't feel like that's the target at all. I feel like that's just kind of being lumped in, right, to this conversation because it's such a big game. But I feel like the main target, and even in that article, he mentions, like, the senator even said, look at Candy Crush. That was the big thing. And I think mobile games in general is where this is really falling in line, is that these kids are downloading these games because they're on their iPads or on their tablets and they're just easily acceptable. But then they always have these so enticing buttons that are so easy to tap, and just all next thing you know, you're 20, 30, 40, 50, $100 in the hole because your kid's just tapping away. There are parental controls, obviously, but like the hope of these companies is that the parent won't notice, the parent won't have the controls on there, or whatever the case may be. And they just want them to be quiet and download or whatever like that. I'm just saying, like, that I think that's where this argument is going, is more in that direction. But then I look at a game, I don't want to name the other names, but then there are other mobile games that are doing it, that do have microtransactions, that do boost the character, but they do it in a way more reasonable level. Right. So if, like, ads, for instance, you can either buy the stuff to advance the character, or you can watch this ad and get the same stuff. So, like, yes, that's advertising and you're kind of, it's a give and take, but you don't have to watch the ad. You can still get the stuff if you give the time into it, or you could just buy it and be done with it. So I feel like, again, with anything, there's a give and a take, and it's all about restraints and kind of having a mutual understanding of what it is. But again, that's not something, like, I feel like that boat isn't going to, like, just settle down by itself. It has to have some movement behind it, like this bill. So right now I'm in favor for it, but I don't know. That's just kind of where I'm standing as an outsider looking at it. So.
And I'm hearing multiple things. Like, I'm hearing microtransactions, like buying skins, stuff like that. And then I'm hearing loot boxes. And then one thing that kept coming to mind is those 2 mounts again that I got. Not to rub it in again, but I'm thinking those are 2 mounts that I got from a loot box that I paid $15 a month to Blizzard for.
Right.
So loot boxes themselves are there, but I do see the issue with, like, you're putting money to redeem these boxes. If you buy it with money, that you aren't guaranteed something. I mean, and it does get you that gambling. I mean, I have to be very careful. I've got an addictive personality. I don't think any of you could ever be surprised by that. I have to be very careful what I got. I mean, there's a game in MMO out there with loot boxes that I actually had to leave because I don't want to get into that. Like, they added loot boxes. I was like, no. And it's all cosmetics, cosmetics and MMOs are one of my weaknesses.
Yeah.
Which is why I have every single item on the Blizzard Cash Shop for a while.
That's different. You see, because you're buying these things that aren't progressing your character in any way. And the biggest thing, and okay, but even if you're not looking at the whole thing when it comes to cosmetics and you're looking at stuff that does boost your character, the thing that really, quote unquote, grinds my gears is when you don't know. Like, I spent $15 in this game and I was hoping to get something cool, and then I got crap. And then it's just like, that's when it's frustrating. That's when it's the 2 biggest things I have about, like, DLC and loot boxes, and I know I'm throwing DLC in this, is just that, like, you know, one, it's a gamble. You don't know where you're going to get, and then it could stink. And 2, like, they're putting so much effort into how can we monetize this content and break it up. And I keep visualizing the thing I saw on Reddit years ago that said, like, in the 80s and 90s, games were this sandwich, and, like, you get the small fry, small burger, and then the DLC was the supersize. Well, now it's like the bun, and the DLC is the meat, and then the loot boxes is the tomato, and it's just like, I don't want that. I want to pay $60. I want to play my game, and then I want to support the devs by buying the stuff that, like, makes me look cool. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way it should be. But
yeah, because I mean, how many games come out now, even with, like, DLC? They're like, hey, buy this game for $60, but if you pay $90, you get the entire season pass that has the storyline that we should have put in the original game.
Exactly.
I like getting physical stuff with, like, pre-orders, if we're going to go into that territory. I don't care about, like, extra add-ons when it comes to, like, getting a head start and, like, online stuff. But, like, I pre-ordered Red Dead Redemption because I wanted the box.
Oh, Frazly, that's turned around. You need to turn that around.
There's only one side to the BFA Collector's Edition coin. I wanted to say this for audio listeners, but I'm with you. I like physical things.
Yeah, you need to turn around. You were showing the backside of it. We can't see what the other side was.
Okay, there we go. See, no, the backside.
I'm gonna leave the show.
If we're gonna show our pride here, surfing.
Oh, this is podcasting battle royale.
Yeah.
I mean, my webcam won't show you this giant case of like all Blizzard crap that I have next to me, but
Don't call it Blizzard crap.
It's not crap. I do wish that there, maybe instead of RNG loot boxes, that we could work towards a specific skin, whether it's in-game currency or actual real money. Like, that would feel better and less of a gamble. Because, like, you know, like you were saying, like, it kind of sucks to spend, you know, money or whatever on a loot box and get crap that you don't care about.
Right.
So I do wish, you know, you could pick specific things.
Yeah.
If I know what I'm buying, this is with my only playing it twice. I believe Fortnite, you buy the skins, that you don't buy a loot box. I could be totally wrong. And then somebody, if I'm wrong, somebody in the audience email me.
I like how we're all like, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not 12. I'm just kidding. Gaming's for everybody.
Yes, for everybody. No, you're only a gamer if you can beat Dark Souls, which means I'm not a gamer then.
You're only a gamer if you could beat Lion King on the Sega Genesis.
Oh, then I guess I'm not a gamer either. And do you think that this will affect Blizzard?
Oh yeah, hands down.
I think it will, for
Absolutely.
sure. But I don't think it'll affect them nearly as much as Activision, and I don't think it'll affect them nearly as much as other mobile strictly games in game companies. They already are I feel like WoW is in a very particular position because, you know, you have your monthly subscription, but that's not going toward, like, you're paying $15 to play a game. You're not paying $15 to open a bunch of boxes.
Yeah.
With Overwatch, you get loot boxes from playing the game, and they don't do anything to boost your character. So, like, there's minor tweaks that I feel Blizzard would have to make to do this. But, like, games like, I don't even know, like Candy Crush or something, where, like, the entire structure of the game is built around microtransactions. Yeah, those are going to be hit hard for sure.
And Winchester brings up a good point about Hearthstone. Hearthstone's one where you buy packs.
Yeah.
And then you don't know what you get in. And I mean, that'll be one that they're going to have to reevaluate if these bills pass.
But I feel like that's also something, again, the bias of me is hearing myself talking, like, yeah, like, obviously this is going to be a little bit, you know, biased, but I feel like at least with Hearthstone or any other, you know, Magic the Gathering or any other card games, like, that's expected because that's mimicking real life. You know what I mean? Like, that's different than, you are boosting your character to play more, you get whatever, but it's not actually like you pay this amount and you could get a shotgun, you know what I mean, or something like that.
Man, I'm just now sad. I had a foil Blastoise card, and then I went to a Pokemon tournament. It was a Pokemon tournament group. I left my book on the table to go use the restroom, come back. Guess what's missing out of my book?
Aww.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Your bookmark?
Yeah, the bookmark, absolutely. That was a foil Blastoise. It was my bookmark, absolutely. Well, thank you all for joining me on FrazlCast. Oh, crap! We need to redo the whole thing.
Why?
Someone left a coffee cup on the table.
Oh, no.
We'll just Twitch clip the entire thing.
Okay, that sounds good.
So Nomad doesn't get that reference.
Oh, I don't.
No.
I'm uncultured.
With some things. Only some things.
Some things.
It's a Game of Thrones thing.
Yes.
Oh.
They left the coffee.
Is that good old Danny leaving her Starbucks cup on the table?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Danny, like red rum. Oh, wait, that's a different Danny.
Red rum.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That was creepy.
I've never seen that movie. I've never seen The Shining.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
You've got to see it.
Fix it.
There's a miniseries.
Well, I've never seen any of it.
I'll send it over to you, Techie.
Okay.
Yeah.
It does not surprise me at all.
Give me your address.
Oh, jeez.
Just to add to the creepiness of the situation.
I just made a Jack Nicholson face.
Oh.
So audio listeners can...
That just reminds me of this episode of The Simpsons when they're mimicking The Shining, and then he like,
oh my gosh,
all snow and no beer make Homer go something, something. And she's like, go crazy? Don't mind if I do.
That's one of my all-time favorite Halloween ones. It's just so good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Oh, I'm looking at the time. Yeah, Techie, I think hearing that you got to go to bed around 11. I don't think we have time to redo the entire episode, so we'll just roll with it. We'll just go with the coffee cup in the middle of the table, and audio listeners, just ignore the coffee cup in the middle of the table. We're sorry. That was
It's probably Frazzly, let's be honest.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, coffee. 12 hours my next coffee cup.
I miss coffee so much, dude. I haven't drank anything but water since October of last year.
Wow. Mad props.
Yeah,
Seriously.
and
Yeah.
I want it so bad.
So if people on the internet want to support you in not drinking coffee since October, where can they find you on the interwebs?
Well, you can find me at PerfectNomad, and you can find the show at Lagging Balls. Just kidding. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. So I have a funny story. I used to travel a lot for work.
I was going to roll with it, man.
No.
Roll has been stopped.
I had to tell a story. I used to travel for work with my old job, and we went to Arby's one time for lunch, and they asked me for my name, and I work with this guy named Josh, and I told him, I was like, my name's Josh. It's just because I knew that, like, just to mess with the guy mess with Josh behind me. I don't know what the outcome was. Maybe he was just like, thought it was stupid. Whatever. I just wanted to make him mad. But yeah, every time I think about that, I am on Twitter at TechieTaco. I am the TNA for Lagging Balls, so you can also find me at Lagging Balls. Obviously in the Lagging Balls Discord, or you can follow the show at BlizzMates. I do have a Twitch, but I'm never on there. Or I am on Instagram. I always forget Instagram. I'm techie.taco.
And Nomad, when people want to come with you with questions about podcasting, about heroes, about medieval times, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me at Aliandrisk on Twitter, and I host a show called Dungeon Fables. No, I'm just kidding.
It's a really good show.
Yeah, I hear it's a really, really, really good show.
That was good.
You can find me at PerfectNomad on Twitter. If you're interested in going to medieval times, no matter where you're at, just hit me up. We'll hook you up with a discount. I've got not connections. I actually work there. I'll send over an email to the marketing associates at medieval times. So wherever you're at, just let me know. It's all good. But yeah, you can also find me
BlizzCon.
BlizzCon. When you come to BlizzCon, you want to go to medieval times, I'm your guy. I also have a Instagram at perfect_nomad, and I'm looking into getting back into streaming, so you can find me on Twitch at PerfectNomad.
And Jules Scott, where can we find you?
The irony of this. Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
So we actually, Techie, you should tell him.
What? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I missed that whole thing. Sorry, I just completely derailed. This is what happened to me. I have very severe ADD. And I saw Thor and he mentioned a good thing or he said good stuff, guys. And then I saw the cats, and then I started thinking about cats, and then I just completely derailed. Sorry. Yeah, so we actually mentioned on the show that Allie reminded me of Jules Scott. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The show's not even released yet, so that's hilarious. Yeah. But they're both unique in their own little ways.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And they bring joy to people's lives.
To be fair, I think it's the fact that they both have like that cool, calming voice. You know what I mean? They're both just like kind of chill in their shows, and that's all. So
yeah,
and they're both very sweet people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aww,
I have a funny story about Jules. I was on her stream one time. I wasn't on her stream, but I was like in chat hanging out with her one time. She was making the necklaces, and she's like, all right, guys, I'm done. I'm going to whatever. And then we got on the subject of Mad Libs, and we got her to do like one of the adult Mad Libs, and she was like cracking up the whole time. It's somewhere on my Twitter, or if you go back and like find it somewhere on there, it was so funny. We were cracking up.
Nice. Wow. I must have ESPN. old.
All right, buddy.
You're sounding a little sporty, Frazzly.
So, Jules, Allie, you, where can we find you?
Me. Well,
me.
You can find me on Twitter at. I can't even do this now.
Yay! I broke Allie.
You can find me on Twitter at AliandrersK. You can find my show Dungeon Fables at Dungeon Fables on Twitter, or dungeonfables.com, or wherever you get your podcasts, such as this one you're listening to now. Or you can hear me every week on All Things Azeroth.
I think with that, I'm going to head back to Ironforge, because I heard there's a cat that's roaming around Ironforge that I want to go find.
Activating customized Orchestrate transporter.
I am back in my home of Ironforge until we one day reclaim Gnomergon. I didn't find any cats, sadly, but I did find some honey and bacon French dressing, and I chugged some of it. Oh, it was so good. But now it's time for something.
Let's look at what has been happening in the community.
Awesome. Let's do that. So BlizzCon is coming. Wave 2 tickets are sold, and many of my friends got tickets, like Rosenstern, Tosh Buffoni, and Professor Talib. The names go on and on. 1 year, I'll be going. But I'm excited for all my friends who get to go. We got some really cool news this week. So Con Before the Storm and Wildhead have teamed up to combine into one awesome event on Thursday, October 31st. The Kickstarter for the party is launched, and as a recording is already past $14,000 funded of a $19,000 goal. I funded this, and I'll be getting a shirt, a Velcro patch for the studio, and the satisfaction in knowing that this awesome party is happening again. A party by the community and for the community. And there's a tweet that DitchCon news should be announced this weekend, and just for the timing of me getting this show out, it'll probably happen after this show drops, or during when it drops, so it'll probably go out then on Monday. You know how the time works. But it will be on Wednesday, October 30th, and I will mention the news on the next episode. But also check out ditchcon.com and twitter.com/theditchcon for information as it comes out. And for this year, WTBlizzCon.com is where to go for tickets, roommates, and rides. And in the community, grats to r/WoW for hitting 1 million subscribers. And WoW is all about community and your friends. Well, there's some interesting news about Recruit a Friend happening. So Recruit a Friend is going on hiatus on June 11th. So make sure to get your friends/extra accounts in, so that way you can get the rewards like the Zebra, the Golden Pig, the Cindermane Charger, and more. I got all the rewards. And it sounds like it will return with new rewards, which means I'll need to recruit some new friends with the returns. And did you know that today is the 14th anniversary of Leroy Jenkins? The video was released on Warcraft Movies on May 11, 2005. One name I have heard in so many places. I still remember a work camp where they asked for silence in the auditorium. You hear someone in the room belt out, Leroy Jenkins! As a nerdy kid, that warmed my heart so much to be like, someone referenced something in pop culture that I know! Icy Veins has links to 3 WoW Classic quizzes by the YouTuber Classic Wins. These are fun to do, and they want you to post your scores in the comments on the Icy Veins post. And then Perculia of Wowhead tweeted out an awesome tweet of Anduin and Sylvanas using the 2 new filters that have been circulating around Twitter. And I got a thread of myself using one of these filters. And lastly, if you go to Blizzard when you're in the area, please ask ahead for an appointment. Ton K on Twitter tried to just show up, and then Blizzard did the unexpected. You've got to check out this Twitter thread. I've got a link in the show notes. Woo! This has been another awesome episode of FrazlCast. I was on Epic Fail podcast, and we discussed things like Avengers, Game of Thrones, Heroes, Overwatch, and even WoW cleavage. And shout out to Crushinator and Mikey for the tweets this past week. These are encouraging to get, so thank you. When I'm editing stuff, doing all this stuff, it is so encouraging to get tweets like this. In every episode, I'd like to take a time to thank my Twitch subs out there. Thank you to Michael of the Blue Recluse and Nerd This Podcast. Thank you to Naughty Grandpa. Thank you to Thorn of Liking Balls and BNN, who will be celebrating episodes 69 of Friday Nights with Thorn and Thist. Thank you to Zorts the Goblin. And thank you to Nihar. If you want to support the show with a Twitch sub, go to support.gnomepodcast.com. And you can buy a shirt at gnomepodcast.com if you want to look cool on the street, knowing like, hey, I know that really nerdy niche podcast about a World of Warcraft video game where they go on tangents. That's called FrazlCast. And people are like, what's FrazlCast? Oh, you know FrazlCast. Oh, I don't know what FrazlCast is. And then they kind of walk on the other side of the street from you when you're wearing the shirt. Hey, that happens to me all the time. But yeah, if you want a shirt like this, you can go to gnomeshirt.com. All these bits, subs, and shirts got to help supporting this labor of love. And before I go, I want to just ask you all to keep Rhett Pally Jill in your thoughts and prayers. As of this recording, they are in the hospital. I want this to be here on the show as a sign that we love the people in our community and we care deeply about them. Jill has been on the show a few times, and I've gotten to know them, and I consider them a friend. Jill, I've been worried for you, my friend. If you hear this, just know that I love you, and I'm so glad that you're our friend, and I cannot wait to talk with you more. Well, I am Frasley, and you can find the show at gnomepodcast.com. So until next week, be awesome. Welcome to the Fraz Report, a short podcast by me, the Awesome Gnome, about the World of Warcraft. So this week we have a tip from Carrie Ann that the Darkmoon Fair has banned selfie cameras at the fair. They were banned from the roller coaster after people have been losing their cameras on the ride. One even flew all the way over and hit someone working on the profession quests. Since the addition of these cameras in 2015, the fair has been overrun with vloggers, Instagram celebrities, and pranksters. This culminated in the ominous organizers of the fair finally deciding to get rid of selfies once and for all. Selfie sticks had already been outlawed since 2017 after people kept getting whacked in the head. One pirate who was visiting lost her other eye. Now they go by the moniker Captain No Eyes. Some were even using them to reenact lightsaber battles, which was kind of cool, except people finally got tired of hearing whack, whack, whack. And what is certainly a coincidence to this ban, the Darkmoon Fair is now selling pictures and ride photos. These cost $5 of Blizzard balance in whatever your local currency is, and they will be mailed to your home approximately 6 to 8 weeks afterwards. Speaking of places where people congregate and where selfie sticks are banned, Wave 1 of BlizzCon tickets went on sale on Saturday, and all the tiers sold out relatively quickly. The waiting room for sales had Epic Tarn Chieftain and Blightboar playing, along with people talking about Trump, Thunder Fury, and the latest tea being served. And we don't mean tea to drink. This gnome isn't going this year, but I am incredibly excited for all my friends who will be going. And I need to take a moment to tell you that this broadcast is sponsored by the Orphans Reuniting Campaign for Awareness, or ORCA. Hopefully you are aware now. My intern for this week has been Gandeg, a Dark Iron Dwarf orphan who has been learning audiovisual skills and has been running the audio equipment today. Go and visit an orphanage and either hang out with one for Children's Week or adopt one. I know that Velmic of the Half Report adopted Alice into his family on a very heartwarming episode. One day, once I find that gnome, or goblin, or worgen, or human, or dwarf, just not forsaken, whatever race I find, maybe it'll be a mecha-gnome. Once I find that love of my life, maybe I'll adopt an orphan to be my son or daughter. Great job, dear orphan. You will make an amazing audio professional in the future. And alas, that is all the time I have for this report, as I need to get this young one back to the orphanage. You know, those child labor laws. Even though I'm only paying them in experience, I guess they don't want interns being well trained. Well, until next time, be awesome.
Have you ever asked yourself what the world of Azeroth looks like from the perspective of a small village in Pandaria? Did you ever wonder what a weekly news show on a Pandaren college radio station would sound like? If not, well, that's probably a good thing, actually. But the creators of the Half Hill Report sure did. So each week, your host, Tosh Mifune, that's me, brings you a short and very lighthearted view of the current goings-on in Azeroth as viewed by the only journalism major at Half Hill Agricultural College. So join us each week on the Half Hill Report as we share our small-town view of a very large world.
FrazlCast is a fan podcast that covers Blizzard games. We are not affiliated with Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. Views expressed by the host and guests are their own. Some of the art, music, and sound effects come from Blizzard games and are owned by Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. No copyright infringement is intended.
This show is brought to you by Dragon Powered Studio. Find more at dragonpoweredstudio.com.